What is happening, everybody? Good to see you. Welcome to Hawk Wins Radio Picture Show, where we're coming to you live every Wednesday night from Q4 Radio here in the beautiful, and today very sunny. It was a high of 40, which feels like a fall 60 in some ways. Beautiful Chicago, Illinois. Again, we want to thank all of you guys for joining us here tonight. If you are first timers to Hawk Wins Radio Picture Show, welcome. Good to have you. For those of you who have never been here before, we are a show by Chicagoans, for Chicago arts and entertainment and media and film and comedy and pro wrestling and painting and arts of all mediums. We have literally.
What about yo-yoing?
We have not had a professional yo-yo on here. The fucking yo-yo guy. There I go, dropping F-bombs and yo-yos. Maybe we can get the yo-yo guy. Do you know the yo-yo guy's connection?
I was walking down Logan Boulevard, and like next to the Logan Skate Park, there was a group of kids just fucking in a circle, just yo-yoing. I don't know what the hell they were doing there, but
they were yo-yoing. You know what they say about the yo-yo business?
What?
It's got its ups and downs. Hey, everybody. My name is Jack Dwyer. I'm going to be your co-host tonight. With me, as always, is my dear friend,
Jay Smooth.
Jay, what's happening with you, brother? How have you been feeling lately? What's new? What's new in your world?
Man. I left my house in shorts and a tank top today because it was so nice outside.
Yeah, brother.
And then other than the yo-yo people, man, that's about it.
Yeah, the yo-yo thing, that'll put a mood on a day for sure. You know, be like, kids are still doing this. It's like equivalent to ball in a cup.
It's like the minute it hits like over 30 degrees in Chicago, y'all want to go out and fucking start barbecuing and shit.
Right, absolutely. Sorry, we're getting a little fuzzy there. Here we go. Hey, everybody, sticking with us. Sorry, now we're looking sharp. Well, what do you say, Jay Smooth? Should we start the show up and have a little fun today?
Let's do it, bro.
Terrific. Well, folks, today on our show, we like to say we feature guests of all different mediums. And film and independent film in Chicago is something that me and Jay Smooth hold very near and dear to our hearts. So everybody, please welcome to the show a director, an actor, a writer, a man of all mediums and events as well. Everybody, please give it up for Noah Guardado.
Hello. Hey, what's going on, everybody?
What up, Noah?
Hey, guys. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm super stoked. This is really cool.
Dude, thanks for coming. We greatly appreciate you coming on board. For folks who have never heard of you, Noah G., tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, geez, I guess where do I start? I am a director, filmmaker from the south side of Chicago. Born in the late 90s. Grew up kind of watching a lot of YouTube and stuff like that. A lot of visual effects was like kind of where my foundation started for filmmaking and like kind of like video storytelling, basically. And now I basically do freelance production as well as help manage my parents' restaurants on the south side of Chicago in Bridgeport. And very recently in December, I actually hosted my own film festival where we provided a space for over 350 creatives to come together and to meet and to just collaborate and to network and to kind of like expand their horizons a little bit. What we did at that festival was we premiered 5 short films, including my own, Loose Ends, and we also donated a big part of those ticket proceeds to the Greater Chicago Food Depository. So, yeah,
Snaps,
just
brother.
trying to do the whole filmmaking thing.
Get it. And philanthropy, man. That's great.
A little bit, yeah, thanks.
That's so cool. So tell us a little bit, about how you got started in film. What was really the big appeal for it? And was there a moment in your life where it kind of just hit you like a ton of bricks and you said, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, a little bit. It's weird. I think growing up in the early 2000s when all of these like different sorts of tech started being introduced to the masses, and I think that medium of filmmaking and video making became a lot more accessible to so many people quite early on. And so I was raised by a single mother. So a lot of the times when she's working, bouncing back and forth, I'd be babysat by her friend Russ, and shout out Russ. He got, when I was like 8, 9 years old, he didn't really know what to do with me. So he was like, let's just make videos, and I was super down to do that. So we'd make really silly visual effects kind of stuff. There's one video where I'm throwing a ball in the park and my stepdad, and he ends up blowing up. Just silly stuff like that. When I was really young, I got into that. and it just stuck, like just some things just stick. I played sports growing up, but it was like if I was playing football or basketball, that was just to do that with other kids. But then what I really wanted to be doing was like editing videos. So my mom got me like a flip camera, if you remember the ones that would pop out, and like a USB would like pop out of the camera so that you can like, plug it into your computer and upload the footage. So I was doing a lot of that and just watching a lot of YouTube growing up. I got really into Corridor Digital. They're like a really popular YouTube channel who they specialized, especially early on in those early YouTube days. They were like the only people making like legit cinematics that were also like visual effects based. And I just like fell in love with that. And so I guess over time I just kept on doing it, but never really thought it would kind of be serious or like that it could be a career. It was just like, this is just what I do. And then I go to school. But I've always loved movies. I've always loved TV shows. I just love that moment when a story makes you feel seen, when like you're just experiencing something that isn't supposed to relate to you, and then it does. I think that's like my favorite part about like creating stories and stuff. So just over time, like I did acting at Lincoln Park High School. Like I stayed with it. I did theater camp when I was a kid. Like I had always been around this sort of thing. But then college started, and I felt like my life had reset a little bit. I was just lost. I was 18. I was like, what do I want to do? I was doing music for a little bit because I just like wasn't sure. And then ironically, around when COVID happened, I feel like I just found myself back into wanting to create visuals for stuff because of the music. And I had that full circle moment a little bit when kind of like a pile of bricks when I was like 20, and I was like, oh dude, like everyone says like when you find the thing that you're good at and you love, that's the thing that you should be doing. And it just was so clear, I think, because of COVID, because I didn't have any social circles around me. Like I was living with my childhood best friend at that time. And I was like, let's just make silly, weird videos. Like I made like a Mario video years ago that's like about Mario, and he's like, he's a plumber and he has to go to work, but there's like a detour and all these different video game references are like colliding at him. And I just had never had that much fun, I think, in my life, making something only to show it to my roommate. And so then as time went on, I kept on releasing YouTube videos, and I actually got a job at an advertising agency right after college, and that financially supported me, but I was still like making silly stuff. And it just became very clear after working there for 4 years, like the silly stuff is translating into a real true skill set that is like directing and writing and, producing, like all those different things that you're taking for granted as you're doing it. You realize like, oh, I have a whole set of tools that I can provide to other people. So yeah, falling into filmmaking, it felt like the inevitable, to be honest. And I'm, kind of prideful to say that since I fully jumped into it and said like, I'm not doing anything else, it's going to be this, I feel like the path has continued to like pave itself in front of me a little bit. You know what I mean? And I think that's how you kind of know that you're itching at the right thing,
Yeah, totally. And, you've been at it for such a long time. And it was funny that you were talking about the flip camera, because I was thinking about my influence in film growing up. I had to have the high 8 tape and transfer it to your TV, and then onto a VHS tape, which is like a block, kids, for those who don't know.
Wait, what is that?
It's before your time. I'm really showing my age tonight. So seeing it from like, going from like a physical copy to a digital copy, and now with the production of AI and making that better in film, you're kind of seeing, like you said, the pavement is kind of getting built, like right as you're walking on it. You know, what's your take on that, of the evolution of film over time? Like you said it, or like right off the bat, that it's so much easier nowadays to get right into it. I always make the joke that Charlie Chaplin would cream his pants if he like saw how easy TikTok was, So what's your take on, filmmaking in general throughout the decades, seeing it progress to what it is now?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. There's so much to unpack there. First of all, I would love to see like Charlie Chaplin's TikTok if he were to exist nowadays. I think that'd be so funny. I think he was such a genius. He would still find like ways to like make things unique. And I think that's what's so cool about exactly like what you're expressing, just like how filmmaking has changed over the years. I feel like the one thing that's remained consistent, thankfully, is that good stories remain to be human. But it's basically the structure around how we're like developing those things now. I think what's exciting about it is, like especially with AI, like there's no more excuses, like truly. and not even saying that people have, like you can make a fully length indie film for $100,000 and it might be put into theaters, like if you have like the right avenue and like the right resources to do so. And that just like wasn't possible at all even like 30 years ago. You can even like get like a camera that looked remotely as good as you can now. You can take out your iPhone and beat out most films that were filmed in the 80s in terms of like image quality. So it's like that's to me not like a barricade anymore. And I think AI, especially as it's creeping into everyone's kind of workflows, it's just been very not alarming, but it's hard to keep up, I think, as a filmmaker, especially. And I never thought I would feel that way. I'm technically Gen Z, so I feel like we were brought into this like recognizing like VHS and like DVDs, physical media, but then watching the value of physical media skyrocket because everything's digital. And now that everything is digital, now it seems like just human-made things are being valued more than AI. So it's like that sort of battle will never stop, I think. But it is becoming a little bit, at least from my perspective, it's becoming more difficult to decide like what the avenue is now and like how much to lean into the new tech versus like, like I recognize like what AI can do, but also like I know what I know. and I kind of want to like just continue to tap into that and learn more about the tradition of film. Because I also think filming on like old school film stock is so cool and like but it's so difficult. You know what I mean? So I think to like wrap that all up, it's very exciting that now anyone can like tell their stories or like conceptualize their visuals. But I think people right now are struggling where to put that, to be honest, a little bit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And, I was watching one of your videos before, and I think you really hit the nail on the head. You said that, using AI and this new technology is a way to elevate your art instead of it strictly being your art, quote unquote.
I know the video that you're referencing. That's crazy that you watched that.
Yeah, dude. I did my homework on
Thanks,
our guest.
man.
Come on, brother. That hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, man, that's really a cool way to look at it. Because like you said, just as a storyteller, you can make this like huge production, but like for the same time, like have a computer do it. It's pretty wild. And your video about remaking Back to the Future that went totally viral. Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks.
That's awesome. It was so cool to see how you did just that. You still made it the human element, but just digitally enhancing like little stuff with the technology that we have now. What's one technology or one piece of technology in AI that you're thinking right now might be kind of a wave of the future, or maybe something that you want to practice yourself in maybe an upcoming project?
Yeah, this is where it gets tough because like it can do so much now and it's getting better every day. And even like when I made that video, I was like 21 maybe. So like AI still wasn't even like a thing, which is crazy to think about because that still feels recent. But I hope, and what I think is the biggest implementation that I think creatives should be using for AI is truly just like management. For me, I'm a very visual person mentally, so I can't really think in like words like that, or like I can't organize my thoughts. Like I'm very bad at that. But what I am good at is just dumping words onto a document and then pasting that into like ChatGPT and being just like organize these thoughts as if you didn't know me, and like it doesn't know me. And so it helps you like reanalyze what you're thinking and trying to accomplish in a much neater way. So I like stuff like that. But I think also, Wonder Studios has developed a really cool tool where you can pretty much just film a person moving and doing something, and then all AI will like mocap, it'll like remove you and then like reanimate it to like whatever character like you want. And so it's like we are seeing AI developing so quickly where now it's like you could just, and people do, craft like a whole little like 3D render sort of scene or movie with like AI narratives and stuff like that. And so I feel like realistically, it's still going to sit in the background a little bit. So like, and maybe, see, now I'm just feeling old because for me, I'm like, oh, like what AI is really good for me is like rotoscoping, right? So like if you're familiar, that's just like cutting an object out of a frame, green screen keying, stuff like that. Like we're all fine with AI handling that process. But the other example that I provided where like AI can now remove a character, clean the background, replace the character with a fully different 3D character and replicate the lighting, like that is taking weeks out of like 3D animators and like visual effects artists like process. And clients who want to like get commercials done quicker, very, very affordable and very nice, flashy idea for sure. But then it kind of like removes the human element to it. So that's why I said like I don't think AI should ever be the art, but it should definitely help enhance. And I'm not doing a great job answering your question because I
it's kind of a loaded question.
No, it's okay because it's very unsure to tell exactly where it will live in the future. I don't think we'll get like fully AI movies like premiered or anything. I don't think that's happening. But I think it will absolutely become more of a fundamental resource for people for sure in terms of, like I said, organization and executing ideas that in the past truly felt impossible. Those are the sort of things that I don't have like experience in like a Hollywood budget to understand a little bit. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think also the catch-22 with it is like, we'll never know until we get there. That's how much it's changing every day, and people are finding different values in it every day. I'm seeing people use AI more often now in like, not like app development, but sort of like that realm where people are wanting more like customized experiences for their phones and stuff like that. So yeah, like that's why it's hard because it's like it is affecting filmmaking, but it's also affecting tech, and it's also affecting like all these different industries. I'm just as curious as you are.
I think AI will come up with like full blown like movie productions.
Yeah.
And it also won't be like an hour, 2 hour long movies. It'll be like 30-minute movies. Because like as we keep doing like this whole TikToks, like Instagram stuff, or like mine, attention span is getting way shorter. And so even like, you see it a lot with like music. Like I just type in like a prompt and AI would create like a whole song for me. Like there's no need to know any music or any like anything really. Just typed in the prompt and boom, full song.
You know that Disney sold or they didn't sell the rights to it, but they put all of their movies into an AI software. So like all of their animated stuff now can essentially just be digitally processed through just that then.
My theory is that we're gonna get all the movies shortened up into like 30-second like clips or whatever.
But that's what's kind of cool about it, because when you think about it, you can ask it to then, hey, my boy Charlie is going to turn 3 today. Do you think you can have Cowboy Woody send him a video, and they could just do that?
That's very cute. I didn't even think about that.
Like the opportunity is endless, because and I think the first time I ever like really dove into the universe of just like how wild just computer graphics nowadays with AI and mocap you were mentioning earlier was when Kiss went digital. When Kiss went digital, I was like, oh wow, no, you can just be eternal like that. That's kind of crazy. Did you watch that, how Kiss went digital?
No, but it just made me think about how it's like now there's a fear of things going digital. It's like we don't own anything anymore.
Well, that's a whole other thing. You talk about the physical copy of a movie. Like back in the day, you'd collect movies, but now you just have the digital right to rent it or watch it.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like music, right? Let's say you write like a 30-second hook or something, right? And you want to use AI to help you create the rest of the song. It sucks now because if you upload your song to like an AI software, now like you have to like click on a bunch of like consent bullshit and accept and all that shit. Some of those say like once you upload it, you no longer own your music. It's now like AI's music. So like a lot of people are getting screwed over by AI because they upload their music to help it create the rest of their song. But because they're clicking all the like accept and all, they're not reading the small print or none of that.
Yeah.
Now AI owns all their music and they're getting like screwed over. I think eventually it might be the same with like movies and stuff. Like you upload a movie to like enhance this or create that or do whatever. Yeah. But then people are gonna get screwed over because like, how much of a fear do you have that AI is actually gonna take over your job?
Playing the Terminator theme. That's all that was playing in my head as you were saying that.
But is that like a fear of yours that like AI is going to take over your job someday, or do you think like no matter what we're still going to want like a human element?
No, I don't think so. And I think I feel that way more now, especially following the event. Like AI could help do what I did, but there's no AI that's going to like tap into hundreds of people on a personal level and to motivate them to go out to an event and to feel inspired and to connect with other people. And at the end of the day, that's what everyone is looking for. That's why I think like generation for like art is like, I think it's the fast and flashy thing that we see that's working, but I think people recognize that there's no depth to it. That's why I like certain ways to like incorporate AIs through a software. Epidemic Sounds, they're awesome. They're like the provider of like stock, not like stock music, like it's like general stock music, but they have like a whole professional studio dedicated to making music that's royalty free. And they have an awesome like system that's empowered by AI where you can upload a song that you like and say, find me a song in your library that is similar to this one. And it does a really good job. So I feel like to that basis, like that's what it should be used for. But I guess I'm just sort of hoping that AI doesn't replace me and like everyone else in the world. I'll admit, when I worked at the creative agency, I was a producer, so like it's very hard to replace a producer. But there were different elements of other people's jobs that were being threatened just a little bit that people were recognizing. And I feel like it's weird. It's like you just kind of have to give faith in humanity a little bit sometimes, that they're able to recognize where value is really coming from when it comes to what you consume. You know, like some people just like love like the like Transformers movies, and that's cool. That's fine. I'm not like I'm not ripping on them, but you're looking for a different experience. Like you're looking to be entertained, and so I feel like the difference is like AI could totally render out like some kick-ass cool like crazy animation that you're like that's awesome to look at, but it's not going to write like Manchester by the Sea, where like you're like developing through this character's storyline of how they're experiencing real human connections. Because I feel like that's the coolest thing to me about creativity with like music and anything is like even the simplest of things hit you the hardest. I think the older you get, the more experiences you have too, the more you can connect to things. I just I don't think AI has that. Maybe it will eventually. I think it has more of a threat of like miscommunication. You know what I mean? Yeah. More than anything, where I mean, there are certain demographics who are being targeted, obviously, online to consume things and to believe that it's true. That's where I'm like, I don't know what to say about them. Like I just think some people don't have enough media literacy, unfortunately, due to I think it's just like a generational issue, and it's very understandable. But I want to say no. I don't think. Unless like the whole world is just robots, then robots will make art for other robots. I guess that is like the big fear, right? That like we become like a WALL-E world where like no one even wants to make anything. Everyone only wants to consume. Yeah. That is a different, right? Yeah.
It's a WALL-E world.
WALL-E?
No, WALL-E.
Oh, WALL-E.
WALL-E. Yeah. WALL-E. Yeah.
We're already there, bro.
That's funny.
That's happening.
Right. And so. I think that's honestly when you see stuff like that,
world.
To me, WALL-E words, yeah, that's a whole different fear. But I think,
sorry, folks, park's closed today.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the whole world is closed today. But I think that's like honestly one of the biggest inspirations for me is like, not saying no one else will do it, but knowing that world could exist if we all just gave up. It's almost like you could just give up, and then the world will still go. Like it'll still continue, but people will be way less motivated, and will devalue what art really is. And I think that's really important to recognize that, at least in my opinion, art is what distinguishes us from other animals. Like I really think that's it. Because without that, it's like what else are we really doing that's much different than like what like a like a whole like culture of like lions and gazelles in like Africa. They have their whole ecosystem figured out. We've done the same thing, except we're just expressing it and they're not. And so whenever I think about that, I just think like, yeah, like I don't want to be alive in a world where AI is the only thing making entertainment at all.
And we have thumbs.
Yeah, we also have thumbs.
They say the earth without art is eh.
Yeah, that's a great thing.
I'm curious to know, what kind of a YouTube kid were you? We had like Fred and like the annoying orange, and then we had like the kids to watch like YouTube poops and stuff.
Yeah,
what were like your top 3 searches growing up?
Oh, nice. Yeah, I was very heavy into Smosh. They were big for us. It was like kind of impossible for a new Smosh video to come out and not everyone watch it.
The food battle stuff. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. Oh man. The like Pokemon in real life stuff. Like yeah. They were huge when I was a kid. I mean, obviously Fred was around. I wasn't tapping into Fred. I was a little too old for that. But I think also we were able to recognize like this is funny because our parents hate it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a big appeal to YouTube too. Like Annoying Orange was the same thing.
Yeah.
I almost developed a love for Annoying Orange only because my like parents hated it, like hearing it. So I was like, I'm just gonna play it, have it be on. Ryan Higa was like a big inspiration for me too. He was one of my favorites. Yeah.
How to be a ninja.
All of that. Yeah. 100%. And then, I mean, like I said, Corridor, you know, because I think I was looking for something that I wasn't finding in like general Hollywood at that age, because I think as a kid, I wasn't like, I want to be a YouTuber, because it wasn't a career in like 2007.
Yeah.
You know, there was still like, oh, there's people who are now popular online because of it. But then when I was like 13, 14, it's like, oh, these people who I watched when I was a kid are now like, this is their career. Like they're making money doing it. And then by that point, I feel like I wasn't like watching them, but for some reason they come to mind, like Dude Perfect, like these different channels that developed a brand very early on before that was even a thing. Epic Rap Battles of History, dude, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. I think that was when YouTube was in its heyday. Ray William Johnson was like another one where like people equals three. Yeah, like people were identifying what their brand was and what their like what the value that they had to like give to their audiences, and it exploded, you know. And now like YouTube is like what it is. But I would say those are my big ones. I'm sure if I thought more, I would like go down like memory lane. I mean, like Jenna Marbles, you know.
How much of that like inspired or like, you know, like inspired you to like become like a movie person?
Yeah, you know, I think just like I was saying earlier, the accessibility of it all became so much more apparent. I still think I felt too young to like actually think that would equate to anything, but I think just recognizing at sort of a young age that there was like an industry shift happening, I think was enough to motivate me to be like, oh, so if people can just like talk to a camera and like Emma Chamberlain and just like develop like multi-million-dollar like makeup deals, like
Good.
I think I can take all these thoughts that I have and execute them into like narratives and stuff like that and find the audience, you know. And yeah, I think what's also super inspiring, maybe you guys have heard that Markiplier, director of Iron Lung, like just had a huge theatrical release for his film that he like self-produced and funded. And he proved more than I think anyone has recently that like, you know, he's huge on YouTube, obviously. If you're on the internet and you say the word Markiplier, you even show an image of him or PewDiePie, like people are going to know who those people are. But the general public will not. And it's crazy to think how these ecospheres are created, especially with like the internet, how you can have millions upon more people interested in someone like Markiplier than even like celebrities on TV shows. Yeah. But then still when they try to prove to this other industry, now they're mixing more than ever, but to the general film industry, you still have to like convince strangers that he has an audience, and he absolutely just did that, and I think that's honestly so inspirational, just to see like more and more. And I think what's to go back to like tie everything together with like AI, it's like holy crap, like I really do think Hollywood is a little scared and a little like lost right now, because there's no true movie stars. There's really no one that you can put into a movie right now that can pull everyone to the box office like it used to be. I guess Tom Cruise is like the only person now. You know what I mean? Everyone else is like kind of, it's like lost its like face a little bit. And I think that's actually exciting, because now it's creating more opportunities where it's like, oh, see, like the people need something to care about. You can't just like throw a bunch of money at something and be like, look at how awesome this is, come see it. It's like, no, like we want to support what's behind it. I think that's why A24 found so much success, because they were seen to be this like indie film studio who were adopting unique stories that no one had seen before, and I think it felt like a movement. And I think that's like the biggest thing. That's what I learned too after doing the film fest, was like you need to have people feel like they're a part of a community, a part of this movement. I think that's truly how you like actually like establish this lifestyle, and like how it becomes, lack of a better words, livable, you know. That was something that I was afraid of before. I was like, no one's behind me, so I have to like create something for them to be behind, you know what I mean? And I think that's exactly what he did, and I think more people are going to follow for sure. Yeah.
I love what you said about having it feel more communal, of having, you know, the background of people really wanting to come out and support and be a part of something. I was hoping maybe you can talk more about your film event that you had, where your film Loose Ends was premiering that day.
Yeah.
I was hoping maybe you could just talk a little bit about, because I want to get into Loose Ends. I loved it.
Oh,
by the
yeah.
way.
Thank you so much.
I watched it the other night.
Thank
I
you.
absolutely loved it.
Thanks.
I was hoping maybe you could talk about, what was the reaction like? Because, having a YouTube page, you can get hundreds and thousands of views. And I say hundreds of thousands. I got to think bigger. Millions and billions of views.
That's awesome.
Billions of views. But then you don't feel the love and you don't feel that energy that comes from a live crowd and showing your product to a live crowd. What was that like for you, having all these local indie filmmakers showing their movie at such a cool, beautifully newly restored building? And tell us a little bit about the magic of the night and bringing people back to the movies.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
We do got to combat that, people. We got to get back to the
go
movies.
to movies.
Go to movies.
Yeah, man, I could talk all day about that night. That was a night that I'll never forget. And that I'm like really, it's still surreal. I try to stay active as much as I can within the creative film industry here in Chicago, or not even just film, but like the creative community here in Chicago. And now like I go to events where I'm like recognizing people or like seeing people again who are now connected with someone else that like I brought to that fest. Like it's crazy to see that your impact is even larger than yourself a little bit. Like now I'm seeing people benefit from that event in ways that I can never imagine, which is so exciting that isn't even like affecting me. Like it's crazy.
Spider webbing.
Absolutely. Right. And I think the whole inspiration for the event, to be honest, way back when was I went to a film festival hosted by Creator Camp, and they are like an indie production studio ran by like 20-something-year-olds, all like successful internet personalities, basically, like storytellers. And they like helped fund through Patreon a bunch of different filmmakers to present short films. These filmmakers were also very big online, so it pulled a big crowd. And seeing and meeting all these different people like me, who I never had the opportunity to do so, I realized I was like, oh my God, this is how you do it. Like, you bring people together to celebrate something that they all care about, and then they get to kind of like experience their own benefits from it. So I knew I wanted to make this film. I was like, I want to go big. Like, I want to make a big 25-minute, like, dark comedy, but how do I get people to watch it? Before I had done this for my sci-fi film Nova, I showed it to like my like family and friends. Maybe like 20 people were there, and it was electrifying. Like it was like, oh my God, this is why you do it. Compared to like I had that Back to the Future video pop off, and that was very cool at the time. And seeing like the subscribers go up and all the nice comments and stuff, you're like, oh, this is really cool. But it becomes very scary because you don't see or like actually understand what is really happening. So then when I was like, let's just try this. Like, I've never done this sort of thing before, but I know I can do it. So we filmed the film. I kind of like made the deal with the venue. And originally it was supposed to be like max like 80 people there. The Ramova has two different venues. So they have the loft and then they have like the actual theater that sits like hundreds of people. And, I don't have like a huge following online or anything. I'm very grateful for the people that do support me because they're there and like I see them and they showed up, and people who I don't know showed up. But I still was approaching this like there might be nobody there. So you have to try even harder than you've ever tried to get people there. And, we did a bunch of marketing, ton of promotion. I had some TikToks, I got lucky. Some TikToks popped off, and I think they found the right audience. And yeah, it was just a lot of going back and forth with Ramova. We're close with them, so they were very, very kind in dealing with everything. And we sold out, which like surprised the heck out of me. I had no idea that was going to happen. And they were like, so we've never done this, but what do you think about your event moving from the loft into the theater? We think it'll be way cooler. And I was like, let's do it, and people kept on buying tickets. And I was just like, who are these people buying tickets? Like, I don't know these people. Every day I would get a report at 8 p.m. It became like a ritual for me. I'd check, and I'd be like, there's no way more people bought tickets. And it'd be like 20 tickets sold today. I'm like, who are these people? And so over time, it just made sense. I was like, I feel weird taking people's money and not donating it, but I also feel weird just making an event about me. I'm someone who, I'm okay with being in the spotlight, but I'm not searching for it. But I was like, I really want people to see this movie, like, because also the people who helped me make it, I mean, committed so much to it. They were so great, and like, thank you for the kind words on it. I always watch my own work and think that I could do better in some ways. I'm really proud to say that with Loose Ends, I think the performances are awesome. Like, I'm really proud of the performances we got out of everyone. Like, I have no problems with how anyone like delivered things and like the energy that they brought. And every day we were done filming, I was just so appreciative of all these people. I was like, you guys deserve to be celebrated. You know what I mean? I'm just the crazy person who put it all together, but these people who helped me make this thing, I think deserve to be in a room full of other people who are like, look at them, they're the stars, and like to admire everyone's work. And I think that became the fire for me. And I think it also forced me to go out of my comfort zone. I think that's where the success came from, to be honest, because all of the other filmmakers that presented work, I had never met before. At least sort of. Like, I had kind of known them, but it took a lot of like just go to these film events that are happening and meet other people and put your face in front of people and just express to them, like, I love this so much and I want to do this. So I'm trying to plan something really cool. And we had enough people send in really quality pieces of work that I felt accurately also like expressed how I like am as a creative. Like, we had a lot of different pieces of work that was just purely funny, work that was like made people cry, like work that kind of explored different and unique personalities and voices and cultures. And that was so super important to me. Because I know that like Loose Ends, the film, for when people see it, we're going to be releasing it soon. I'm trying not to say exactly when, but I do want to make it public eventually. It's not like a personal story, you know, and it's just what I thought was cool to make. And so it was really important that when people go to this, that they really have like a true experience and that they feel inspired. And I'm really proud to say that that's what we did. I spent a lot of time like not burning money, like I had a concise budget that was spent appropriately, I think, but just like printing out random things that I was like, are people going to care about this? But then when people showed up, no one even realized that it was like my event. It felt like a pretty official event, which I'm really proud to say. And yeah, I mean, it was surreal. I think that's like the only word that I can really come up with when I explain all this. Seeing people as they were coming in, like, you know, checking in, and I printed out like little programs for everyone that said like, thanks for coming. And it said like, you know, just like trying to make it feel real. There was a step and repeat. I hired photographers and videographers, red carpet, like did the whole thing, you know. And I think as soon as people came in, they were like, this is so cool, especially people who didn't know me, because I was really trying to provide value for people who I think like just like past versions of me, almost people who are creative but don't know what to do or where to start or who to meet. And so it was just so crazy. Like, there were dancers there and singers there and of course filmmakers, but then actors. Like, I had people handing me resumes and stuff, like, you know what I mean? And just like seeing what you're capable of, like truly, I think is so inspirational. And after the event, of course, people were like, what's next? What's next? What's next? And I'm like, oh my goodness, you have no idea how much work went into doing what you're experiencing right now. But it's very exciting because it means that we did a good job, you know? And I made connections with people that I'll be friends with forever. I know we had talked a little bit about like, you know, Jerry being on. I adore him and his work. And like, he was someone who I knew I needed to be a part of it. Because I think also I didn't want to, lack of a better words, have people feel like I was like sandbagging in terms of like showing lower quality work on purpose before Loose Ends, because I was fully aware like Loose Ends was made with $500. That was on purpose, but I still think it's worth showing to people so that they can realize like, oh, like I can make whatever I want as long as it's within my resources. Like, creatively, anything is possible. And so I just was like, don't be afraid to potentially show work that might be better produced than yours or more clear and concise, because that's how you get better. And I am really, really proud that I could stand amongst all those creatives that I like had curate this event with us. And like, I just really feel like people felt that impact on their own. And I had so many nice people just coming up to me being like, I'm so inspired, I'm going to get back into doing this and that. And then like I said, I brought in the inside of the Chicagoan team. They're a cool local team who, I'm not taking any credit for their newfound success recently, because they're such committed people. They're awesome. I just found them in a wave where I was like, they're really committed to this, and I think they should be a part of this. So I had them interview artists, whoever wanted to like share their story. And all I'll say is after that event, something clicked for them, and they are killing it. And it's so cool to see that, you know what I mean? To see like all of your work that you're putting in at 3 a.m. all these nights is never really felt when you just post that YouTube video. To tie this all the way back to what I was, you know, to what we were talking about, And so to see people not only enjoy work that you felt like was good enough to show to like present to them, but also for them to like react to all the things that I wrote and the things that I was excited for people to see, it's a little addictive and it's also a little scary, but it's so liberating. What's also crazy about hosting an event like that is it's your event in your head up until those doors open. As soon as those doors opened and I was seeing I can't control people enjoying the event. Like it's up to them, you know what I mean? It's up to what we've built. And it worked, and I truly couldn't believe it. We of course want to do it again. And if you have any other questions about that process, or if I missed anything, I could be, because I loved it so much, and it was so crazy to see everyone in one room that I know like that too. There were people there that I hadn't talked to in years, like since college. Like I said, people drove from like the suburbs to this thing, and I think was also the cherry on top. To me, that was so cool about this was that it was in the neighborhood that I grew up in. I'm from Bridgeport, and what's crazy is my grandmother actually drove up to it too. She lives in Tennessee now, but she used to actually see movies at the Rivamova Theater when it was a movie theater.
Wow.
It's really not that anymore, but I think to do that too, I think was just so crazy, you know, because it was just important for me to bring people to my neighborhood, to Chicago, to Bridgeport, to the South Side. And have them realize like there is so much, like way more than I've even realized in my bubble, you know. And I think that was just like a part of the motivation, and that never used to be a part of the motivation. And I think it is coming from just getting older, to be honest. You know, when I was 21, I was like, I just want to make fun stuff. I just want people to see my cool shit. Excuse me. But then the older I got, the more I was like, you're not making anything worth seeing. You know what I mean? You have to like recognize like, if you're gonna make something that's fun, create the environment for people to still get value from it. And I think that's what we did, and it felt like a little bit of like lightning in a bottle. Not to say that we don't want to do it again, because we will be doing it again. Good. But I need to figure out the identity of it and all that jazz, because also this was tied with like Loose Ends being the finale to the night, which like felt appropriate. But the next time I do it, I might not even want to premiere like my own work. I think I want to keep it strictly communal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Speaking of Loose Ends, I got the trailer right over here pulled up. Is there anything you want to tell people about it, or should I just?
Yeah, I mean, what you're about to see right now is like a little teaser trailer that we released a couple months ago before the event. And I was really excited. It got a lot of people amped up for the film, and I think it is a perfect little teaser to get you a little bit into what goes on in the film. So yeah.
Sweet.
At Lucy's. I got an interview at Lucy's.
Bartending? Have you told that to Mom and Dad?
You guys don't need to keep worrying about me anymore.
I'm meeting with someone later tonight, and I need you to take lead.
Roman, Buddy owns like half the city. What the fuck does he want with you?
Take care of this and meet me by the patio door in 2 minutes with the bag. Don't fuck this up.
Lucy's.
Bartending? Have you told that to Mom and Dad?
You guys don't need to keep worrying about me anymore.
I'm meeting with someone later tonight, and I need you to take lead.
Roman, Buddy owns like half the city. What the fuck does he want with you?
Take care of this and meet me by the patio door in 2 minutes with the bag. Don't fuck this up.
Stop simulating a life and live one.
Hey! What are you doing there? Why is so much of it in the sink?
Looking for a third or what?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's awesome, man.
Oh, thank you.
And for folks who haven't heard of Loose Ends yet, it was made entirely with $500, huh?
Correct. Yeah.
The entire budget for how long? How long was the length of the film?
It's 25 minutes.
Incredible.
Yeah. Thanks.
So tell us, what did you spend the $500 on?
For sure. Yeah. You know, I think that's always been my like approach to anything I make creatively is like how little money can I put into this. And it's becoming increasingly difficult the more bigger productions I do want to make. But yeah, most of that budget went into food, props, and honestly, that's about it. Wow. I really can't, because I mean, everyone who helped me make it, I mean, worked for free, which is like I'm extremely thankful for that, obviously, and that's why we provided food for everybody. But you know, with Loose Ends, I intentionally wrote that film keeping my own resources in mind, which is why we were able to save quite a bit on it. At that film festival that the Creator Camps folks hosted that I had mentioned, the reason why I bring that up is because they actually hosted a one-day film challenge where you got put into random groups and then you'd make a film, and my group actually won it. And so we won like a bunch of awesome prizes from that, like truly like really nice microphones, a B&H gift card to order stuff. So like I kind of should attribute that to the budget, but it technically wasn't because I won it and then we was able to get some better equipment for the film. But we used my Blackmagic Pocket 4K camera that I've had for 5 years, and then our one friend Nick, who we have credited as the DP, he brought in some equipment to let us use. So we didn't rent anything, and the bar that we used, as well as one of the other locations, the bar is my family's establishment, so we were able just to film it there and not have to spend money on that. We could film on days that we were closed and kind of have full access to the location.
Want to give a shout out to the bar?
Absolutely, yeah. So my family's bar, we actually own 2 different businesses in Bridgeport. The bar that we filmed Loose Ends is called The Electric Funeral. It's a cool new local like punk metal band kind of vibe, but everyone is welcome. There's actually karaoke tonight. So if you're looking to do karaoke, go to Electric Funeral from 8 to midnight. And then we also own the Jackalope Coffee and Tea House, which is where we filmed one of those conversations outside. But yeah, it was a film that I wrote, like I said, intentionally to spend as little money as possible on. And, I made it clear to everyone, like, hey, just so you know, like, I will not be able to pay you, unfortunately. But, if you want to get experience and if you want to be a part of something cool. And I think it also helped that I had kind of promised the event before we started filming. Like, I let people know, like, I'm working so hard to make so many valuable connections with people that I respect and appreciate, that this film is not being made in a bubble. And I think people knowing that, I think it helped a lot because people felt like they were like a part of something bigger. Yeah, we got lucky. One of those scenes, we had like 20 plus extras. Shout out also to CBW Media. I'm sure one of you guys is watching. Either Sam or Jesse is probably watching right now.
Real quick, let's do a shout out to these people tuning in, because we do have a lot of people tuning in. We thank you guys for that too. If you got any questions, please go on the chat, holler at us, let us know. Real quick shout out to Mary Ellen. She's saying hey. She said the premiere was a beautiful, amazing night. And then we have Mustache Gaming 268 saying go Noah. Cool. Thank you guys for the comments. Please keep them coming. If you got questions for either Noah or Jay or
I must
please let us
ask
know.
you a question.
Yeah.
Shout out Mustache.
Shout out Mustache Gaming for real.
So sorry, CBW?
Okay. Yes. So this film was produced by CBW Media. And what that means, it means a lot of things. But so basically CBW Media stands for Could Be Worse. They're a like event production, basically just like a fully encapsulating kind of like production studio that was developed by some friends that I had from college. Primarily ran by Sam and Jesse. They're credited all throughout the film. They were basically, not notoriously like it's like a problem, but I have always just been like, I have to do everything. You know what I mean? I have to do everything. And I knew I was like a big part of letting go and getting a product that I think could be way better than I could ever do by myself was letting go of some things. And so they were a big part of that. Sam and Jesse, I have to credit so much because they were there every day that we shot. Any scenes that you're watching that I'm acting in, they are filming. They were in charge of getting all the extras there for the party scenes. Like, they were both PAs and producers. We actually pre-shot a lot of the film too. That was something that I forgot to mention that I think helped a lot. There's footage and there's like photos of us literally filming those scenes without the actors, and it's like Sam and Jesse, because I just want everything to be like perfect. You know what I mean? But yeah, they are great. They do a lot of, like I said, like event production. So they'll like cover DJ events and stuff like that, and then they'll like edit reels for brands and stuff. They're killing it right now. They're awesome guys. If anyone's looking for any work that they want done, CBW is the place. But yeah, they were great. They, like I said, they were the other me's on set whenever we didn't know what to do, but there were just moments where it's like I actually can't deal with that. You know what I mean? Like grabbing food or something like that, or even just helping talent get to like the right, all this little stuff that when you're just on set trying to figure out a million things, it's like maybe I should only figure out 999,999 things and not a million, and then they can do the other stuff, So yeah, they were great. They were awesome. They are the reason why Loose Ends is as good as it is, truly. Yeah.
It was a really fun film. It was gritty. It was funny, very suspenseful, a lot of action scenes. Did you write the entire thing? What was the writing process like? And, what was the big message you were trying to tell everybody through your film?
Oh man, I love all of that. Yeah. So I did write it. For my next projects, I do want to start co-writing with other people. I think there's a lot of value in that. But I'm hugely inspired by like Scorsese and Tarantino and stuff, and I'd never done anything like that, so I was like, let's just do the dark comedy thing. Let's have people in suits killing people, being funny, being quirky, like let's just do it. And I also just, not like as of recently, but I grew up really appreciating things like Shakespeare and these sorts of stories that I do like character-driven stories, but I also love ensemble stuff. And so that was kind of my goal with Loose Ends was, how do I tell a story that's generic enough but exciting enough that you see all these different sorts of characters kind of combining into one night together. So that was kind of like the inspiration for it. I think writing, this was a hard story to write, to be honest, and still like when I watch it, I'm like, oh, I probably could have thought that through, or like it's hard because I'm like a firm believer of not spoon feeding stuff to audiences, to be honest. Like I like to reward audiences for paying attention, but I know that's kind of the opposite approach for like a lot of bigger productions and for what people are used to. And so I'm fully cognitive that like there are things in Loose Ends that you're like, wait, am I not getting something? But I made it with the intention of it living on YouTube because I genuinely feel like it's better the second watch. You'll pick up on stuff. I'm throwing Easter eggs in every conversation. Like that's something I really think is important, that like I pride myself on writing dialogue really well. Like I feel like the dialogue feels natural enough, but still throwing in information that the audience needs to know to like continue that story. And yeah, I think, like I love films like Lady Bird, but I also love like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Like I think sometimes films are too self-important, to be honest. And so with Loose Ends, I was like, let's just throw my vibe in it completely. Let's let people see the grittiness, the drama. I love like The Sopranos too, so I love like finding humor in dark situations, and it was just all these different things I wanted to do, and I was like, let's just do it in this film. And it was a weird one to write, but it was a lot of fun. And I think what's so funny about this kind of stuff is even if you convince yourself that you're making something just for fun, you find a bunch of personal stuff bleeding into it. You know what I mean? Like the character that I play, Gideon, I didn't really realize this, but then the more I developed it, I was like, oh, he's someone who is trapped in this line of work due to his family obligations. And I grew up with people just like that, not to get like too serious or anything, but I mean, I'm from the south side of Chicago. I had friends who were in 7th, 8th grade, and they are in gangs. And it's just like a casual thing. But then the older you get, the more you realize you're like, oh, damn, like I got to kind of give reps to my parents a little bit, you know what I mean? Because you recognize like, wow, like some people really are just trapped in these sorts of lifestyles. And it's like, that's who that character's supposed to be. And like, that's why, I mean, I don't really care about like spoilers really, but that's why like, there's that one conversation where he mentions how he wanted to be an architect. And some people ask me, they're like, was there more to that? And I'm like, honestly, no, but it's supposed to show you like, this character is doomed from the start. And you know what I mean? And then the vice versa is his like older brother, who I kind of relate to a little bit sometimes too, that person who's so frustrated by the people around them that they love, kind of just like slacking and also wanting to be like the golden child and stuff like that. And then the relationship between the brother and sister is also baked in reality. So you start realizing like, oh, I told myself this was fiction, but there are absolutely parts of like reality in here. And I think the biggest message I want people to take from it is to, one, like have fun. Like I think I'm really proud of with Loose Ends is, even if there's moments that might confuse you, like you watch it and you're like, I'm really happy I watched that. Like, you know what I mean? Like it is a roller coaster. I love giving people experiences like that. And I think also baking into the promotion of it, of us making it for so cheap. I think also it was, in terms of my own career, I was like, I need to make the big cool thing and really hammer it in. Like, this is what I can do with no money. Like that was a big part of it, was like, look at what I can do with no money.
Hell yeah.
Because I'm trying to get money to make bigger, awesome stuff, you know? And so that was a big part of it. Yeah. I think like creatively, for sure.
Now, when you were writing the film, did you write it with the intention of you acting in it as well, specifically? And if so, do you smoke? And do you know, what's your relationship like with ripping darts? Because you were ripping a lot of them in the film.
Yeah,
You ever
that's
tried
awesome.
DMT before?
That's a different podcast. Yeah. No, I actually love that question. Because also the interesting thing about Loose Ends was at first, so the character Eli who gets the job at the bar and is like bartending and walks in on the dead body and you know he's like hopeless kind of. He was written as the protagonist at first, as like the audience's perspective. But as the story developed, I realized there is no main character. The main character is the bar. My character kind of leans into it. He's like the first character you meet, but as it goes on, you learn like he's not really like impacting the story in a way that like everyone else is. But no, Loose Ends was supposed to be my first time completely behind the camera. That was the intention, which is ironic because I'm like one of the main characters in this one. So I wanted someone else to play it. We hosted auditions. My friend Alexei, who plays Eli, he's so incredible, you know, comes out of the bathroom, Chad, you know, like he's so good. And I knew he auditioned for Gideon as well, but I was like, you're Eli, like, you know what I mean? Like you're that character. And it just got to a point where, to be transparent, the Gideon character just needed to be on set the most. So I was like, well, that's me anyways. I'm on set all the time. I'll just do it. And it just made sense to do it. And yeah, like I have the acting background. I'm not going to act like I didn't, you know, I wrote a cool character. I was like, I'll just play it. I'll do it. So those are fake film cigarettes. I mean, you are smoking, but what I do, and for those of you who are OG fans, I made a really silly video where Luigi is like a serial killer. It's supposed to be like inspired by the Joker because the Joker's always like smoking cigarettes and stuff. I like just don't mind it. Like I kind of think it's fun to be like. I think this is like a whole other conversation. I think cigarettes are like just so cool in movies. You know, like
Totally,
Even
yeah.
like Dan Aykroyd in Ghostbusters, like he's cool just smoking cigarettes. You know what I mean? There's just something about cigarettes in film that I think there doesn't need to be an explanation for certain things in film. I think you're just allowed to have. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's a part of the medium. Is like not like coolness, but just like vibes. And that's what I was feeling, and I was like, this character smokes. Like, he has to. It's a part of the, like, cool guy killing people, calm, cool, collected, but very troubled. And like I said, I've just had experience smoking those film cigarettes, and I felt bad, like, throwing that onto someone else, being like, hey, are you cool smoking a ton of cigarettes? Because I probably smoked at least 10 to 15 throughout filming all of it. We did a lot of, like, we light it, we start going, and then once we're done, we, you know, stop it. That's what's nice about the film cigarettes, too, is they don't, there's like no toxins, there's no addictive elements, there's no poison in them. Like they're just herbs, but they're also designed to burn longer and to burn slower, so you can kind of get away with it.
Do you make them yourself? Do you roll them or
No,
buy 'em?
I order them from this. It's a website called Honey Rose. I think they're like the standard issue. Like so, like if you watch like any film or like movie or film or TV show, like and someone's smoking a cigarette, 90% of the time it's from that company. Yeah.
That's cool.
They're
They
in
do a lot of
London.
cool stuff like that. Yeah, they do like the paper bags that don't make noise.
Yes,
glass,
yeah.
Sugar glass and all that.
I love that stuff. Yeah. We actually, I know that you saw it, but one of my favorite moments in the film is when we do the gunshot as the headshot. That was all practical, obviously, and I don't get to do that stuff very often, so that was really cool. We wanted to do more practical stuff, but you tell yourself that, and then you're on set and you're like, it's not worth it. Like, there's that moment where he comes up behind him with the rope, you know, and then he pulls it over and pushes him onto the chair, you know, towards the end. He was supposed to like crack a bat on his head, and it was going to be this whole thing, and we were like, it's just not worth it. Sometimes it's not worth it, but I do think that the blood squib at the beginning was totally worth it.
Yeah, no, it
thanks.
looked very realistic.
Thanks.
It kind of reminded me of like Pulp Fiction a little bit. Are you
Nice.
like a Quentin Tarantino fan at all?
100%. Yeah. You know, I'm not a fan of his remarks that he's made in these past couple years, and I think he is someone especially who I kind of need to separate the art from the artist a little bit, because it's like hard to deny the inspiration. I love his ability to write characters, and I mean that opening scene to Inglourious Bastards, in my opinion, is one of the best like opening scenes in cinema history. It's just done so well. There's so many different things happening. I think his stories are really interesting, but I'm not like as like enthralled into crime kind of like he is. I did the crime thing, and I do love like dark humor, crime stuff for sure, but I don't like envision my whole like creative journey being just that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So you're a big Tarantino fan. What's your opinion on feet in film?
Yeah, right. Well, yeah. That's what's funny is, I mean, maybe, I guess I assume most people know this, but like feet and hands and eyes and faces are like natural attention grabbers for like humans. This is something too that I think people, he is a weirdo. Like, I'm not going to act like, I mean, whatever. If you see this, Quentin, I'm sorry, but I think you know that you're weird. Filmmakers are weirdos. So like, I think we all know that we're all weird. But it is like a tool used, and it's very effective, obviously, because people talk about it. But yeah, like it's a weird thing where like I notice it now, like when I watch like film and TV, and if people's feet or hands are like present, I'm like realizing, oh, they are doing this intentionally to like keep me locked into like whatever's going on. It's a weird subconscious thing. Same thing with like colors, you know what I mean? It is a tool, 100%. But yeah, I think he might be just getting a little bit of his own little fetish out as well.
I like a good set of feet, you know?
Would you like to drink tequila off Selma Hayek's foot? I would.
French
Oh my
tips.
God, that's so funny, yeah.
Sheesh. He wrote himself into that role. We got some comments coming up here. Mustache Gaming, shout out Mustache Gaming. What's happening? Mustache Gaming wants to know, what's the next film you want to do? Is there any specific genre that you want to touch on?
I love that question. Yeah. I actually, and I think funny enough, we were also kind of like talking about that beforehand. So the next film I want to do, I'm a little indecisive on, because I feel like when like a filmmaker announces like their next big film, it becomes like your identity for like a year and a half or something like that. I want to do a bunch of smaller productions, I think, this year. Also, it's kind of TBD. I'll know later next week, but there's a chance that I get some funding for my next project. Unclear how much that will be, unclear if I even do, but there's a good chance that I do. And if I do acquire that, then that will sort of dictate my next move. But either way, funny enough, I was talking with my girlfriend about this. So I promise I'm getting to the question. Let me just like
I will say this real quick. Yeah. You don't leave any loose ends in your conversations.
Thanks. Yeah, I try not
I appreciate that you in every question I ask you always say, so to tie this up, or like to pull it all back. Because sometimes we'll ask an artist, or as you know, wild. Sometimes we'll ask things and it just beelines off. So you were 100% amazing. Thank you for that.
No,
so,
and
your girlfriend.
Yeah. So she is super into like not like Renaissance specifically, but I feel like that's the best way to explain it to people, to like painted art. She loves art history, studying art. So she spent years in the Netherlands like studying art history and learning the language, and she took me out there at the beginning of 2024, and that was my first time in Europe, first time like flying overseas, and I absolutely loved it. I fell in love immediately. We would take trains to like different cities, and I was just writing a television series. Like, I mean, it was the most natural anything had ever come to me. Like, clear as day, I'm seeing it, I'm writing it down. And it's a project I still want to do eventually, but she is very personal about that place. And so we've had conversations where I tell her, like, I think I want to tell like a fish out of water story about this guy who like loses his passport in the canal, and it's called Canal, all this stuff. And she gave me a lot of good insight onto how she thinks I could completely do it. But I think that demands a lot of respectful research into the, like, she's like, I would not, like, she would feel offended, but she's just so good about keeping me grounded. And she was explaining, like, but you don't have like experiences there like a lot of other people do, and how do you know that you'd be able to like tell a story there that feels real
and represent the culture?
Exactly, and not just like you know what I mean? Just like fantasize it. But I loved what I wrote for so long. I was like, I want to do this. And so then recently, when the idea of maybe I've been getting funding, and I've been helping my parents with their businesses a lot more than I ever have, something clicked, and I think it's easy to assume that your own story is too self-important to tell, and that's why like the stuff I've made is very like grandeur and almost like sci-fi fantasy, not in reality. And I think I want to do the complete opposite, and it's been very scary to like admit this, but I think everyone has a very valuable and interesting story that they could tell that other people could relate to. And it's very difficult at first to like accept that you're going to do that. But I think once you do, things become a lot easier. So all that to say, my next project I really want to do, I want to produce like a proof of concept film. I'm a huge fan of like Girls and Fleabag, like I really want to create like an edgy, cutting, personal television series. That's like something I've always wanted to do. So my next project, if I get funding, I want to produce a basically proof of concept short film about, I mean, pretty kind of autobiographical, if I'm not saying that right, and I never do, but about like an aspiring artist from Chicago who is balancing running their family businesses, dealing with complicated relationships, and also trying to follow their dream all at the same time. And it's funny because when I explain that story, I feel like anyone would be interested in watching it. And I'm like, it's weird to think that it took me so long to finally be like kind of confident enough to be like, oh, I have all these experiences. Like if you spend a week in Bridgeport, you'd be like, I could write a whole movie. Like people are wild, you know what I mean? And so there's all this drama and all this like real discourse and real emotions and lessons everyone around me and myself are learning. And I'm like, some of the best stories are told are like, you know, like I mentioned, Fleabag and Girls, like Lena Dunham and Phoebe Waller-Bridge just wrote their own experiences and made them. And those are incredibly well done Emmy-winning productions that I think are now like some of my biggest inspirations. And so I've just realized, I'm like, that's the thing I think I need to tap into, that I think I could also, I mean, I have stories for years to tell, you know what I mean? And so, and yeah, I do want it to be a little bit more hyperbolized. I want the character to be messy and for everyone to be sort of archetypes of the people I know. And it's just so exciting because I also feel like that Neighborhood showed me that they're so committed to seeing what we're making, at least like, I mean, yeah, just hundreds of people from not only Bridgeport, but from Chicago wanting to feel represented in something. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's something I want to do. Something else I've been noodling on, though, that I feel like Mustache Gaming might think is cool is I'm a huge fan of the new Fallout series on Amazon. It's incredible. I think, come at me, I don't care. I think it's the best video game adaptation anyone has ever done. If you haven't seen that new Fallout show, watch it. Even if you haven't played the games, it's just an incredible show. I want to make like a 3-minute live-action BioShock short film. I don't know if you guys have ever played that game BioShock with like the big daddies and you like, you know, amp yourself with like powers. No one's really done it. And I'm like worried to say it and to jinx it and that someone else might do it. But like that's like the like low key like the next thing I want to do. I just want to do like a live-action BioShock thing. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
trying to figure it out. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Damn. Wow. No, yeah. No,
Sorry, no, I know that was a lot.
No, that's good. No, I don't know if it's good. What's a good follow-up question? Because that would be really cool. You don't really see a lot of video game adaptations, especially with like indie filmmakers. You see a lot of like Star Wars fan film and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, what would the process be like to get that the wheels rolling on that?
100%. You know, it's actually funny that you asked because I was thinking about it today because I'm like getting more serious. This is an idea I've had for years that I've just been like, oh, like maybe one day, maybe. But I'm like, I know enough people now to make it happen. Actually, funny enough, I want to reach out to Jerry and see who he knows in terms of like who could help me make like a practical set almost for it because I think that would be really important. And I would just pretty much handle all of the visual effects for it. You know what I mean? So that was kind of my thought philosophy for it. But I still need to like storyboard it and like I have like a general idea of like what the story is. Like I said, I only want it to be like 2 minutes, like super quick, super short, but cool. So yeah, I think the first step for that would be finding a crew who would be down to kind of just make something cool, and then finding someone who can make like not a whole set obviously, but maybe just like one singular wall that looks grungy enough that we could like manipulate in something like that. Yeah, oh man. I mean, now I'm like trying to think about how I'm gonna figure it out, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah, you got connections like Jerry. A lot can happen. You know, like you said with that. You know, with your film premiere, having so many people out there, spider webbing. I don't think people really recognize the importance of just getting out there and just connecting with people. You never know who's you're going to work with next in this industry.
It's everything. You know, like I've known how to edit videos for a long time and use a camera and do 3D and do all this stuff, but none of it mattered until I met other people who were doing it. You know what I mean? And I think that's my biggest thing I want to share with other creatives is like, you know, the phrase it's not what you know but who you know sounds so cliche, but it's so true. You know, like it's so true. And I think also I just want people to understand like how valuable it is to make real connections with people. I'm like very like I feel very lucky to say like I've been in rooms with like very successful people and like creators online who are very nice, and then some of them are like 22-year-olds who live in like a bougie, nice, like penthouse in Manhattan because they're such successful creators, and they kind of treat you like you're nothing. And you're like, wow, like you have no idea what the world is like.
You've never pushed a mop around before, have you?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
right, yeah. You know what I mean? And I kind of, I'm actually really excited that now I'm at the age, I feel wiser now, where I can look at that and recognize like, you don't really know much, and that's okay if you're going to treat me that way, because I have all the confidence in the world now just to actually talk to real people who I actually want to talk to.
Preach.
And I think people just don't recognize that, especially when they're so successful early on. And I think it's a pitfall, like I think people find their momentum, they find their rhythm, and then they do that thing where like you're at a party and they're talking to you, and then they're like looking around to see if there's anyone more important to like talk to, not recognizing the value that you can bring, you know what I mean, just in general. Honestly, that's why I've had a chip on my shoulder for so long. I don't anymore, but for a super long time I did, because I felt like, and this was more internally focused, but I didn't realize it, that I was like, why are none of my contemporaries like realizing what I can do or like what I'm capable of? And sometimes you have to look inward and be like, oh, because I'm not proving it. Like I'm not actually like doing it. And the festival was a big part of that. Not to brag or anything, but it was like, I have to believe it too. You know what I mean? Yeah. And now it's like, yeah, see, like, look what I could do. Like, why would you blow me off next time? You know what I mean? It just seems silly, for anyone to, because we did have some other people that we wanted to premiere in this who I've like known for a long time, and they were kind of like, yeah, for sure, we would be down, and then the steam runs out or something, they stop responding, and then they have other stuff going on, or they think it's not important, whatever, and you snooze, you lose. You know what I mean? We had people who like, I think, I'm failing to remember her name. I didn't even get to meet her, which is funny, but I think one of the people who run the Midwest Film Festival was at my event. Nice. And I have no connections to her. I didn't tell her to go. I don't know anyone who knows her, and I didn't even meet her. You know what I mean? And so it's crazy to think about that, like anyone who is like, no, I was just doing like a little thing, it's not that important, that they missed out on an opportunity to like expand their future, their horizon. Mm-hmm. And all the people who did take that bet on me and who went and took that chance and who were in the film and who supported it, both the film, the event, and all the other filmmakers, everyone is now getting to walk away realizing I have this whole new group of people that I can communicate with and work with and collaborate with and just respect and admire and be tapped in with. I firmly believe that being jealous of other people's successes is the worst thing that you could do as a creative. It's the absolute worst. I actually think, I really hope people like who are listening, who are creatives, like really take this to heart. Like you should be a cheerleader. Like be a cheerleader for other people. It will take you so much farther. Yeah. In the best way. I don't mean to say any of that to sound like I'm like, using anyone or anything like that. But, recognizing other people just are committing to progressing their own career is so inspirational to be around. And the more you celebrate someone else, the more likely, and not even likely, like it might happen, because it does happen. Like the universe proves to you, like you are being rewarded for like allowing someone else the space to just kill it, mm-hmm. and to be a fan of theirs. Like my homies over at Powder Blue, I think having Nate on this podcast would be awesome. He's an incredible person to talk to. He's extremely humble, but he's such a focused person. He runs Powder Blue, and their whole thing is to make the internet feel smaller. And he's done awesome interviews with really cool creators. They'll release like a news publication, sort of like magazine, and they host events and stuff like that. And I had met them earlier this year, or earlier 2025, as just like an outsider being like, what's going on? And at their most recent event, I was like helping them out with stuff, and like now I'm like homies with them, and I love that I've been able to like create this new connection, because I think also, you guys know, the older you get, it's so much more difficult to like make friends, to, you know what I mean, to actually like include new people into anything that you're trying to do. But I think the first step you have to take is to just like ignore that ego part in your head, and just to say like, I want it so bad that I'm gonna just like be excited that someone else is doing it, because that means that now I'm in a room with people who are doing it, not just around people who are like, I want to do this, I want to do that. It's like, no, like if you're not doing anything, at least be around people who are, and you'd be so surprised like what clicks and like what really starts to manifest for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely, brother. I just want to say, let's get some snaps for Noah going, because that is literally everything that we like to preach here on the show, man. It's, this might sound cliche of me saying all these taboo sayings, but this is the shit we preach every single show. Real recognizes real. Mm-hmm. If you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
you got to show up if you want to be seen.
Yeah.
And you just tied all those loose ends together, brother.
Thanks, guys.
No, you're absolutely right. I really like what you said about, you really got to be a cheerleader. You got to be, and I've had this mentality too for a while, especially when it comes to like comedy and just entertainers in general. It's like you can't be jealous of people for the work that they're doing that you're not doing.
Yeah.
Take that out, because that's the biggest piece of shit. But then, supporting them, like people always talk about bringing things to the table. When it comes to entertainment, like this is kind of an unlimited table. You can pull up as many chairs as you want. If you're in the business of making people happy or making them feel something, you should welcome them. You should totally have them on your plate and have them at your table, brother.
Yeah, there's enough space for everyone.
Totally.
There is.
Totally. Yeah. Oh, man. Now, who are some of the people that you've met through this process? So, just obviously from your last event with the premiere, and even the filmmaking, are there people in your life that you want to maybe give a shout out to that have kind of helped you propel your career along the way?
Oh, man. I mean, I did mention Nate. Nate from Powder Blue, that whole group, Nate, Chris, and Moy, they are incredible. They've been a big reason why I've been so comfortable stepping into spaces that I never thought I would step into. At first I assumed that I didn't belong. I mean, but that's like my own internal battle that I've always dealt with. I've never felt like I've like belonged anywhere. So I have to give them a huge shout out to, I mean, like I said, creating spaces where creatives from all different walks of life feel like that they belong. Got to give another shout out to CBW Media, to Sam and Jesse, because like I said, I never really had like any creative partners growing up. Like I'd be like, hey, friends, like, do you guys want to like be in this? And then they like help me, but they don't care about it. Not like that they're disrespecting it, but it's just not their thing. To finally be working with people like them is like just, it motivates you too to when you're leading something. I mean, I want to give a special shout out to the Creator Camp folks. Like I said, I've been lucky enough to hang out with those guys and meet those guys a good amount of times through all of their events, and what they're doing is so incredible. Shouts out to Baron Ryan. That's the director that they basically helped propone his indie film into theaters. It's called Two Sleepy People, if you guys haven't heard of it. Shouts out to my mom. She is very, very supportive, and she always has been. And yeah, shouts out to Alexei and Shelby and Joe and Dora and Chad and Paul and Darnell. These are all the actors in my film Loose Ends, because truly, like, I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anyone. Danny, because they all just they stuck with it, and it means so much for someone to not even question anything when you're like, can you do this? They're like, yeah, like whatever you want, man. It's so humbling and it's so exciting when someone is like, I trust you, whatever you gotta do. Oh, I also have to give a shout out to Lauren Fern. I don't know if she'll be watching this, but Lauren is so cool. Lauren and Vic, you guys know who you are. See, now I'm just like shouting people out. But Lauren is just also someone who I got the luxury to meet in 2025, which is ironic because we both grew up in Bridgeport. But so her mom was a regular at our bar, and I just met her mom, and her mom has this one line that I love. When she thinks someone's trying to like pull a fast one on her, she always goes, "I was born at night, but not last night." And I quote it all the time. It's so funny. I love Nicole. And so I just told Nicole, I was like, I'm a filmmaker and I want to be more involved in stuff. And her daughter Lauren has done some really cool stuff. Lauren just wrapped a short film like last year with Alan Ruck. If you know, Alan Ruck has been in Succession, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. She's like out in New York doing awesome stuff. She flew back to Chicago to film her like short film that she wrote basically about Bridgeport, and then brought in her friend Victoria to direct it. Victoria's done really cool stuff. Victoria's acted in like Oscar-nominated stuff, you know what I mean? And I was lucky enough to AD that set because Lauren wanted someone who was more connected to the neighborhood. We wanted to like finally work together and meet each other. And that was the most fun shoot and the most professional shoot I had ever been a part of. And I felt so welcomed and so loved. And following it, I mean, me, Vic, and Lauren are going to be, besties for life, right? And it's just crazy because like that's like a great example of someone like I will be a cheerleader for Lauren for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? It's way more fun. And like literally, Lauren, like she's such an active person. Like she's doing something every day. And I'm like, God, that's so awesome. You know what I mean? Like that's the blueprint, and it's awesome that I know her personally. I feel like it's easy when people just see people online, just like, I'm doing all this. You're like, well, good for you. But it's just when you actually know doing it, you're like, I can do it too. You know what I mean? And like, thank you for reminding me, and just by being you, how awesome I can be as well. Lauren is so nice. So now this podcast is just about Lauren because I love Lauren so much. She even did something that I didn't do, and I was like, mad respect. She wrote, and I'm just saying this because I think this is an incredible thing that people should make more of a habit of. She wrote an individual letter to every single person who helped work on set. So we did like a post-rap party where we just drank at Skylark, and I mean every single person, like PAs, gaffers, extras. That's awesome. Everyone got an individually written hand note from Lauren. And I was like, man, like you are just such a stand-up person. This is crazy, So I really do have to give them a shout out because I'm like so happy that I've met them and that I know them, and I'm like honored to say that like they're my friends. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my list. I always got to shout out Gibson. That's just my hometown friend.
And, it's really important to do that, to give that recognition to the people who make, the art a possibility. I myself, from years past of being in films and things, remembering that maybe the most. People might not always remember the time that you had or your name or whatever about you, but they're going to remember the way that you made them feel.
100%, yeah.
And I think that's super important, especially in the film industry. I think you're a 90s kid. I'm sure you probably grew up watching Adam Sandler and being like, damn, he gets to hire all of his friends, and it's just him and his friends hanging out. Mm-hmm. What is that like with your inner circle of how do you get these folks to be a part of your film? What's your casting process like? And,
for sure.
Do you have any moments like that kind of strike out to you or stand out to you of, man, I feel really appreciated, I feel heard, or things that you've done to the cast to make them feel appreciated? Yeah.
No, I mean, one thing I'm really proud of, actually. So Loose Ends, I guess to go back a little bit, because shouts out Tony also, don't think I forgot you, buddy. Tony, I mean, mostly I just get my friends acting and stuff. Like, that's how it's always been. So, like, Tony acted as Jackson in that Nova short film that I made. I just kind of asked him, I was like, you have a look that I need. You just want to do it, man? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And it was so much fun. But Loose Ends was like, I was very scared because this was the first time I was bringing in people who have been on other sets, people who like do act, people who like have been in films, you know what I mean? Like my friend Dora, their sister Glam is like a legit director who has like had stuff like win festivals and stuff like that. People who like know what it's like. But I was like, I want that. Like I want real committed people who can really give these performances. So I was nervous because I never worked with Alexei or Shelby specifically, and they're two of the leads. They're the brother-sister dynamic, and I'm like really stoked to say that everyone on set was like, you ran such a good set. Like I had so much fun, most fun I'd ever had in a set. And I'm like, that's crazy to me because it's just, you're not thinking about it. I do love pre-production. Like I think that's one of my favorite parts about making stuff actually, which is kind of ironic because everyone hates pre-production, but the more pre-production you do, the better the film's going to be. Loose Ends, I spent straight 30 days every single day in my parents' coffee shop just doing pre-production. So right now for casting and stuff, I pretty much just send out, I just post. I'm like, hey, who wants to act in something? Or I'm, speaking with people. And generally the process goes where I kind of know what I'm looking for, but I want to leave it open. And I'll give people like a page or two to like read if they want to do like an audition. If not, people will send me their experience and stuff like that. This is kind of how we did it for Loose Ends. And then it's just a lot of back and forth for me of like thinking about what am I going for here? What do I need? And who is going to be able to like provide that, That's sort of how it went into Loose Ends. But keeping the fun on set, I feel like I don't really have like a guideline for it or anything because I do just love it so much. I talked a little bit about this on Ruse Radio that like directing is like hosting a party kind of, like you're the head behind everyone making sure that they're okay and that, making sure that everyone is having a good time. And I just like doing that, I'm not like a people pleaser, but I'm a very empathetic person. Like I try to like, because I think I've felt that way my whole life. Like I'm like this black sheep or you know what I mean? Like I don't belong. And so I feel like I'm just so always trying to not have that feeling be in people. I think it's just going back to being the cheerleader thing. When I'm directing on set, I'm not acting like the boss. I'm just acting like more of like the pilot, like the captain, like I'm keeping everything moving, but I'm being extremely supportive of everyone. After every take, I'm like, beautiful, you rock, you're a rock star. Let's try it like this. Let's do this. And and just making sure everyone else feels comfortable. I think food helps too. I think also making sure that everyone else feels like a priority, not wasting people's time, which also goes into pre-production. My like biggest advice actually for filmmakers is like, if you're expecting a bunch of people on set, do not just tell everyone to show up at the same time. If you know that you're only filming with like 2 people at first, like schedule it out a little bit, because I think that helped a lot. Like no one really felt too fatigued. I think it also just helped that we brought in, I think, the right people who are just capable of like creating like a safe space for each other. Like it was awesome to see like these people who I don't really know, and then people I've known for 15 years. I'm like over here working on something, and I turn around and they're all just chatting, they're all just talking. You know what I mean? Like they're getting to know each other. So I think a big part of like being on set is like allowing it to be a space of like open collaboration, but also getting people to understand that when I'm raising my voice, it's not like I'm yelling at anyone, but it's like attention needs to be brought for a second. We need to like re-level. And, I try to reward people like I'll pay for, like if there's not just like food on set, I'll pay for their meal after if I can, or like, we like had some beers after we filmed that first party scene at the, at the bar, like let everyone let loose a little bit. But yeah, I think it really is just seeing yourself as them as well. Not seeing it like, now I'm the boss, I'll do what I say, but it's like, how do we both get this to work, for everyone? And that's a part of the challenge, but I really like it. Like I really like directing. Like I know that it's what I'm best at as well. It's like weird, is it's hard to describe to someone like why you know that you're a good director, but when you're on set, people recognize like that's a director or like that's a producer, I think also what I was going to say about that is that and I just lost that train of thought, so I'm not even going to act like I still have it. And that's okay.
No worries. Now, you've talked a lot about growing up in Chicago, growing up in Bridgeport. Do you have any favorite Chicago stories? Any wild CTA stories? Any goofy things that you think would make really great comedy?
100%. I mean, I guess I don't. It's hard to like identify one story, but there's so many. Like I don't really take the CTA anymore, to be honest. Not because I'm like afraid of it, but
it's great people watching.
It is. No, you get a lot of stories. Like I grew up taking the Red Line too, so it's like it's always been like the Wild West over there. You just get to a point where it's like I lived in the city for like 27 years. Like I don't need to be on this train anymore. Like I've done it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, dude, I don't even know where to start. I mean, we've had, when I was like 13, we've had people try to swing on us, not for any reason, just like you're just standing there and someone just wants to swing on you and you're like, what's going on? And then they keep on walking. You know what I mean? You see people. One of my favorite things with the Red Line, at least, is that people will just like, if they gotta go, like if they gotta pee, they're just in between the carts, pissing out the cart, stuff like that. Oh man, this is like one of those situations where you're like, I could tell you anything going on, and then once you're in the moment, I can't think of anything specifically. Right. But I think what I love the most about the people in Chicago is like, what's different about New York. I actually went to New York recently, which I loved, but I feel like everyone here is very nice, but no one has patience. So like people will be nice to you in a moment, but if you waste their time, then like they're like, get out of my way. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't want anything to do with you, which I think is nice because I can't stand when like strangers try to like talk to me when I'm like out and about. I just like maneuvering through. But man, I'm trying to think of like my favorite CTA story. I mean, I've just seen people do so many weird, like such weird stuff. I mean, the thing about the CTA, it's like some of those lines are totally fine. You won't see anything happen, and then you can be on a train where like people are just smoking blunts and like just like acting like it's their living room. Like people really do treat it like it's a whole nother ecosystem. The CTA is what I'll say it's a whole other thing. But it's Chicago, and it'll always be a part of it. Oh man, yeah, I wish I had like a super interesting story. I mean, like I don't know, like I've seen people piss on the trains. I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, no, that's why I stay away from it. Yeah, it smells like pee because people sometimes pee on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right though. It's a crapshoot. You can be even on like a working class line. I was on the Brown line once, and I
Orange
saw
line
people
too,
banging on there, and I was like,
oh,
okay, didn't expect to see this. Rush hour, hey. Yeah, no, there's some weird things. What about like, Chicago food? Do you have any favorite Chicago food spots, or what's your favorite forte of Chicago food?
Yeah, I have so much to say about Chicago food because I feel like I mean, I'm from here, so I think we have the best food in the world, at least in the country, for a plethora of reasons. But my favorite spot that I'll always shout out if you're from Bridgeport, Rick Benny's.
Yeah.
That's my favorite spot for so many different reasons. I mean, I grew up going there. It's always been a family spot. That's just like one of those spots that will always be busy. You know what I mean? It's not slow. You'll get your food in a pretty good, orderly fashion, but it's a classic Chicago spot where like everyone is in there. It's all chaos, but like you kind of get why the food's great. They like invented the breadsteak sandwich. Like not like invented it, but the breadsteak sandwich is like their staple. I think their pizza's great. They're just like, that's the spot to go to if you're like in Bridgeport for the first time, in my opinion. I love Rick Benny's. I'll always say that they have like the best pizza. Other spots I really like. I mean, I'm just also thinking like Bridgeport specifically, but there's like good spots everywhere as long as you know like where to look. Ignatz is really good. That's in Little Italy. It's like a nicer little like Italian restaurant. I really like Italian food. That's like where I'm gonna like focus on. But I actually went to somewhere recently that I would totally recommend to people who like ramen, Monster Ramen. It's like I think it's like Logan, up there. But that's what's cool about like Chicago. It's like, or like any Harold's Chicken, like just, I'm a big Harold's Chicken guy too. Sharks too. Actually, if you're in Chicago and you want to try something you've never tried before, go to Sharks and get the mild sauce. I will drink mild sauce. Like I love it. It's just ketchup and hot sauce, but like I love it so much. That's like one of my favorite like Chicago staples actually. I think it's like mild sauce. Like I think we do it the best. I love it so much.
Is that a Chicago thing to just do ketchup and hot sauce?
I think it's more soul food based, so it might be like a New Orleans thing. But I think Chicago like adopted it, and now it's like a staple for like any like fried chicken spot. You know what I mean? To me, it's my favorite sauce to eat with like fried chicken, for sure. Man, I'm trying to think where else. I mean that beef place, Mr. Beef, that the show The Bear is like based off is they have a really good Italian beef too. But honestly, like Portillo's, I know people like know Portillo's as like the like gag, but like it's legitimately good Midwestern food. Like it's yeah.
People, I used to give tours around Chicago, and people would ask, if I want to eat like a local, where do I go? And I'm like, this sounds cliche and commercial. It sounds like they're paying me to say this, which Portillo's, if you want to, hey, that'd be great. No, really, just like every day. That's the gist of it. Portillo's is Chicago in a nutshell.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did something weird the other day at a Portillo's. I'm really into this thing with Meta AI where you can take a photo and then it'll make it video. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah.
So you go to the photos, the old timey photos at Portillo's, and you take a photo of the photo, cool. And then you can bring it back to life, right? Yeah. So you see these construction guys hanging on beams and stuff.
That's funny.
What I did was all these ladies were like eating hot dogs and like waving. And it was really wild. If you ever are tweaking out at a Portillo's, go do that.
That's a great idea.
Damn, that's how I lose my endorsement with them. Don't tweak out at Portillo's. No, don't tweak out.
Unless you love ladies eating hot dogs.
Yeah. I mean Wiener Circle.
Oh, Wiener Circle.
That's another great
spot.
The spot. That's another great spot too. I was like, I know I'm forgetting something. Like I'm forgetting like a big Chicago spot. Also, like I love both elements of Chicago food. I love greasy garbage food, like Red Hots and stuff, like Maxwell Street. Like I love that stuff. But also like we have like Bavette's. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys have ever been there.
What's Bavette's?
Bavette's. It's like top 2 restaurants in the city, probably, to be honest. They're like a steakhouse, but they have everything. But I don't even know how to explain food that good. It's like every time you go, you're like, this is the best meal I've ever had in my life. I can tell that their secret is butter. It's just like so much butter, but it's so good. And it's one of those places that like you have to reserve like 21 days in advance, like you know what I mean? Or you can show up to the bar and maybe eat there. It's like one of those spots where like celebrities go to and they always get seated, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Green Street Smoked Meats. That was the other spot that I meant to call out. I love really Green Street Smoked Meats. Some of the best brisket in the city. And I love where it's located. It's kind of secretive in West Loop. That's another spot that if you're in Chicago for the first time and you like barbecue, they have some. I love their hot sauces too. But I think it's owned by the same owners, if I'm not mistaken. But that's also like I think the same owners like All Cheval, Small Cheval, like all of that kind of stuff too. You know what I mean? So really good steak. I'm a big steak guy.
We got Mustache Gaming saying gyms on Union Avenue after a long night.
There we go. Gotta go to gyms on Union.
Hey, a couple hot dogs, that'll cure up any hangover. That is for sure.
Oh yeah, that's the Chicago hangover cure is just a hot dog with relish on it.
It just slaps a little different, you know, when you
Yeah.
get the bag and there's grease on the side.
God,
you're like,
yeah.
this is gonna be good.
Do you have a favorite hot dog spot, either of you?
How much time do we have?
Yeah. Honestly, like, you know, Byron's is really good too.
Byron's,
If you've ever been to Byron's, there, you know, I don't go to a lot of Cubs games because like I'm from Bridgeport, but I'm not one of those Sox fans who's like anti-Cubs. But if they're playing against each other, I'm not going to root for the Cubs. But my friend Danny, him and I, like his dad gets like tickets for the game sometimes, and so we'll go and we always like thrash out at Byron's. Like we'll get like the triple stacked burger or we'll get like a big hot dog. That to me is, I really like Byron's because they're still like one of the older, like they're still like an old school Chicago spot. Like it's kind of grimy in there. You know, it's small, but the food is so kick ass.
It's a diner feel too.
It is.
right?
Yeah. 100%.
What about you, Jack?
Ooh, I like Byron's a lot. I think my favorite is Super Dogs. I love Super Dogs.
Yeah.
It's up on the far north side. What's cool about Super Dogs, it's a drive-in, so like you go in,
That's
you
cool,
like
yeah.
order at the thing. But they do smoked weenies and then green tomatoes. So it's just like on the classic Chicago dog. It's just a little twist on it. And the fries are super good. And they also have like, I'm like a really big sucker for those like plexiglass, fiberglass creatures on top of buildings.
Oh, yeah.
And then they have like a George of the Jungle and like a pretty lady
Heck
on
yeah.
top of it.
Oh man, I was a big Rainforest Cafe kid. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But there's another. Are you guys both from Chicago?
Oh yeah, born
Yeah.
and raised.
Hell yeah. So there's a deep cut. Do you remember Hot Dogs?
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
That was in like
It was up north.
like by Lang Tech, kinda.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
like. I mean, I don't think they're open anymore, which is a
Nope.
big bummer. But
It
like
got
that was like my
replaced.
stepdad's favorite spot.
It got replaced by a Tola Cafe.
Yeah. That place, like there was always a line out the door.
Yeah.
It was like you're always gonna wait at least 30 minutes for a hot dog. Yeah, hot
Well,
dog was the spot.
I think they also had like duck fat fried fries. Or
Exactly.
something like
They
that.
did like the duck fat stuff. That's right. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
My favorite hot dog place is Home Depot.
Oh my, that's that might be the answer.
Never pass on an HD glizzy.
Home Depot's
what I mean?
glizzies, yeah. Home Depot,
HD
wow.
glizzy.
Wow.
And
That's
Did you
awesome.
know that now IKEA wants to have fucking hot dogs, like a hot dog stand at their fucking stores now?
Should.
Smart. I was just at an IKEA recently. Food's good.
But they want to have like
Swedish hot dog?
they want to have like 1 foot like hot dogs or something like that, and like
Yeah.
they like launch
You've taken bigger.
maybe, but they're like launching like a trial run of like the hot dog stand in like Europe now.
Oh,
Cool.
interesting.
So pretty soon we're gonna have like hot dogs at IKEA.
America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll have furniture made out of hot dogs.
Ooh, that's a couch I want to sleep on.
Did anybody see the halftime show?
No.
I did watch it. Did you watch it?
Of course I saw it, bro.
Yeah.
It was a very proud moment for all of us brown people.
Yeah. What did you think of I thought it was great. I thought it was really cool seeing it from, you know, as somebody watching it on television. But I feel bad for all I guess I don't feel that bad for all the really rich people who can afford a ticket, because they did not have a good view looking into it. It was just a bunch of
Right.
Bush people blocking it, you know?
That's true, bro.
So I thought that was interesting, but I thought Bad Bunny was great. What'd
Yeah.
you give us your take?
I mean, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was very like kind of like a big fuck you to all the Turning Point USA people.
Yeah, I did watch Kid Rock, his coverage. It wasn't that great.
It was like I mean, I felt bad for Kid Rock at one point. He's over there like doing this thing in front of like a bunch of like 50, 60-year-old fucking people.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
those are the people who want to see it, so that's fine.
After his first or one or two mic flips, I was like, okay, Kid Rock, we get it. You can still get boners. It's
Talking
cool.
about bear and mowing my lawn.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why people got into the whole like why it was so controversial and all that. Like music is music, but like Bad Bunny has been killing it in the last couple of years.
The day after their Super Bowl, I went to work and my boss played Nothing Bad Bunny, and he's like some white dude that's never played Bad Bunny before in his entire life, and all of a sudden he's all like, "Oh, I heard this yesterday at the Super Bowl," and he just starts playing Bad Bunny. I'm like, "Of course you did. Of course you fucking heard it yesterday at the Super Bowl."
Just found out that Puerto Ricans exist. Yeah.
What kind of brown person is this?
Yeah.
It's a water brown.
I'm imagining this guy in the '90s listening to the Macarena for the first time. He's like,
Right,
"This
yeah.
slaps,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, I don't know what they're saying. This is great."
Yeah, that was definitely a big win for brown people. I can say that because I'm brown.
You
For the
said
listeners out there.
it. You said it, brother, not us.
There you go.
Oh man, Noah, do you watch a lot of sports? You a sports guy?
Kind of. I mean, obviously, I was watching the Bears. You know, I feel like the whole city was like behind that. You know, when I first started playing basketball when I was like 8 or 9 years old. Basketball is my sport. That's like the one that I'll claim. And like D Rose was the guy. You know, like when he was drafted and those. You know, I mean, we all know how the story goes. But when it was starting in his whole MVP season, I had every D Rose pair of shoes. Like he was my guy. Like I emulated my play off of him. Like I was obsessed with Derrick Rose when I was a kid, and like everyone was. Like we all knew like it's a really cool time to be a sports fan in Chicago. So I was very heavy into it. Played like every 2K game that came out. You know, I was very invested into that. And then you know he got hurt, and that whole thing happened, and I kind of stepped away from caring about sports for a while. Like I've always played basketball, but I think organized sports, it's like goes in waves for me. You know, like I used to be like a big LeBron hater. So I was like, why am I going to watch the NBA if he's just winning all the time? Now I'm like, I have so much love for him. You know what I mean? Just because of like what he's done with the sport itself and, you know, that whole thing. But yeah, not so much recently. My roommates and I, when I lived with my friend Danny and Mike in Wicker Park, we were super into the Bulls that season when it was like Zach LaVine, Pat Williams just got brought on. DeMar DeRozan had like his big year where he's like hitting buzzer beaters and like King of the Fourth, that whole deal. We were watching a lot that season. And then we actually, and I have not been to a Bulls playoff game in probably over 10-ish years. We were like, let's go, why not? We got some pretty good seats. We went to the Bulls game that by the time it was halftime, we were losing to the Bucks by like 40 points or something like that. And everyone in UC was booing. And that's the last Bulls game I've been to because I think it just really like struck a nerve. And I mean, we don't have to get into it, but like now seeing how that organization is deciding what to do with the team, I'm just like, I guess it's going to be another 10 years of rebuilding, you know? So it's hard. But like I said, I found a new love of like watching football again through the Bears, to be honest. Like I'm really excited to see like where they're going to go in the next couple of years. I actually, maybe I shouldn't even say that.
Who's the next team to win a championship in Chicago?
Oh, see, that's interesting. You know what? It might be the Bears.
Yeah?
You
heard it here first,
I think so. And I'm only saying that because like they were really good this year.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a fluke. I think, and I'm not like I said, I'm not like super invested into the NFL, but the more I was learning from my friends who are, I didn't realize how young our team was. And if we're able to do what we just did this past year, I mean, I feel like we have the tools to do it. Like I said, I don't want to like, jinx anything, but if I'm going to be realistic, I don't think the Sox are going to do it. I don't think the Cubs are going to do it. And the Bulls are definitely not going to be. I mean, it's always been my dream to be at a finals Bulls game, like courtside. That's like my big dream. And I've always been worried that I'm like, what if like it happens and I'm not like financially there yet? Like, I think it's gonna be another 30 years. I think I'm fine. Like I think, you know what I mean? Like,
got time to save up.
I think so. Yeah. So I'm gonna put my money on the Bears. I actually think the Bears are gonna win a Super Bowl in the next 10 years.
Bears.
Yeah, the Bears. Yeah. But I also I'm not super tapped into the MLB, so I could be speaking out of turn. The Cubs and Sox could be a lot better than I think, but
yeah,
I'm gonna go with the Bears. I think because I want to see it too. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Sure. Bears. They also just changed Benny the Bull's number. He was number
really?
1, but then Derrick Rose they
that's
retired
cool.
his jersey, so Benny the Bull is no longer number 1. He's 99.
That's cool. I didn't even know that.
Which I think is like the general mascot number. Well, I guess 00 is the general mascot number. But 99
so.
was the last year they won a championship. Which I
Right,
think
yeah.
they.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah. Okay.
Or
That's
he
fine.
wants to be like Wayne Gretzky, the great one. But
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what that crazy Benny the Bull's thinking? I don't know.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose was supposed to retire his jersey, and he was supposed to have like some sort of ceremony at like his old high school in the South Side, and my catering company got hired to go do that. However, it was on a Friday, and it was supposed to be like a whole like kids thing with like all the high school kids or whatever. But that's the day that we had like that a snowstorm or whatever. So schools
yeah.
got shut down, and like we had prepped enough food for like 120 kids or whatever. And they're all like, "Yeah, school got shut down. We're gonna do this thing tomorrow, but there's no kids like faculty and shit. So we're gonna have to cancel your services and shit."
Ouch.
I'm sorry, man.
But it was cool because we still got to go and see Derrick Rose do all his cool shit.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
He was
That's very
supposed to
cool.
be the prodigal son. D-Rose.
Oh no, funny enough, mentioning Powder Blue, Nate did like a really cool like intimate dinner for like different creatives and stuff like that he knows in the city. We were all at Cafe Babariba, and I actually met a really cool guy named Camille. He's like one of the lead strategists for the Bulls, actually. And so then this other kid next to us, Ryan. He's younger, so I understand why. But he was like, was Derrick Rose actually that good? Like, do you guys actually think that he would have like won a championship? Like, he wasn't like a leader or anything. And I was like a couple singers deep, and I was like, Ryan, do not like be very careful what you're saying right now. Like, be very careful, because I mean, I think we know like people from Chicago now at this point. Like, I think I have more love for Derrick Rose than Jordan at this point. Like, obviously, I love Mike, but like, I mean, that whole like, I firmly believe. I don't know what crack people are smoking, where they think that Derrick Rose was not going to win an NBA Finals if he would have stayed healthy. I think it's pretty clear, like, because people don't recognize, because they only see like, the Heat were like the big team then, and like and the West was huge back then. God, I could talk about 2011 NBA all day. But people are like, oh, well, like LeBron was the guy. I'm like, who do you think was the guy that LeBron was worried about? It was Derrick Rose. Right. Every Eastern Conference Finals that came up, they knew. They're like, this is going to be easy. You know what I mean? And Derrick Rose was 22. Like, he was so young. We didn't even see him hit 27, 28 with the Bulls. You know what I mean? Where, like, most players hit their actual, like, height to their actual peak. And so I just look at that, and I'm like, we were number one in the East. He won MVP at 21. Like, and he was already developing skills as a playmaker. I think absolutely. I think if Derrick Rose stayed healthy, the Bulls would have won at least one more, maybe two. Because that team that was crafted around him, too, was phenomenal. Like, we had the best bench in the league. So I'm getting so amped because when he said that, I understand why he said it, but I was like, oh my god, I can't believe someone just actually said that next to me, and I had to say something like, no, yes, he was that good, and it's very tragic.
Damn ACLs.
Yeah. Whole deal.
Well, we're almost getting about that time to start kind of wrapping it up here.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any other? Do you have any further final questions? It almost sounded like I called you father.
Do you have a father? No, Jack. Thanks. Thanks
daddy?
for reminding me.
I'll be your daddy.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I was gonna ask the same question if you guys had any more questions for me. But this has been great. Seriously, like, thanks to everyone for watching. This has been very, very, very cool. So yeah, thanks guys.
Well, Noah, thank you for joining us, man. You're incredibly knowledgeable, and it's so funny. You were talking about earlier having your ideas, although sometimes maybe compartmentalize, having ChatGPT kind of like angle it out for you. You come full circle.
Yeah.
You definitely have a good head on your shoulders.
Thank you, guys.
As a
Thanks.
creative brother.
Thanks,
and I mean that so sincerely. Not that our other artists that come on have loose screws in their heads. A lot of us do.
Well,
You got a good one on your head, and it's tied on tight, brother.
Thanks,
and sincerely, your film was incredible.
Thank you.
All the folks who are listening, watching, and stay tuned. It's going to get released very, very soon.
Early spring is what I'll tell people. Yeah,
Okay.
Early spring. It's in the festival circuit right now, so it's you can't really like publicize it just yet. But as soon as these festivals deny me, then we're gonna post it.
Do you have any other places it might be screening anytime soon?
Oh man, not right now. I have so many friends who are like doing like kind of similar to what I did, like communal screenings and stuff like that. I would like to. The problem is that it's long. You know what I mean? So it doesn't serve itself as like a quick thing that you can throw in there. But I would love to host or not like host, but just be a part of another space to show it. Maybe just show like a scene from it or something like that. But if we do anything like that, you can find me at noahgfilms, and I'll of course post about it if that is happening for sure.
Sounds great. And all of Noah's information is going to be down in the description below at Noah G Films. Follow him on social medias. Follow him on YouTube. He's got a lot of really great YouTube content.
Oh, thanks, man.
Check out the videos. They're very fun. I could tell you have a lot of fun editing those too.
Thanks. I guess I'll use this time to announce that I am like getting back into that.
Yeah,
I really want to go back to the roots and just make more YouTube videos. So thanks, Jack.
They're very fun, man. You do a very good job at it. The editing is very, very fun.
Thank you.
Very captivating. But sincerely, Noah, thank you again so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
This is great.
And we're looking forward to your next projects and your next events coming up, brother.
Thank you, guys. You as well. Yeah, thank you.
Can't wait to be your cheerleaders. Give me an N. Give me an O. Give me an A. All right, that was officially the honkiest thing I've said today.
What does that spell? Ned? I never went past the third grade.
Well, Jay Smooth, what do you say we close out the show, brother? We've always have a great time with you guys here on Hawk Winds Radio. At the end of every show, we always encourage people to go do something for the week, whether it be get out and go read a book, go ride a bike, go have some fun. I want to encourage you guys. I think it's a very important thing, especially with everything we've been talking about on today's episode, of creating content compared to consuming content. I think there's a lot of people out there, especially a lot of creatives, who might get envious of other viewers. They might be on YouTube and saying, "Hey, man, you can't get 19,000 views." And then you got to question yourself. You got to say, man, how much of this am I consuming compared to how much of it am I actually creating? And I heard a friend talk to her friends. Well, I have a friend who posted this on their social media, talking to her children about the importance of doing that. It is a really awesome art to get into. If you're a filmmaker, you're a storyteller, it's even if you have an idea or just a weird hobby that you like to tell about, I'm really going to encourage everybody. If you've never gotten onto a YouTube channel before, go ahead and maybe start it up. There's so many great ways to start. Most of us have cell phones, which is a really great place to start just from scratch. So that's going to be my encouragement for everybody this week. Be aware of how much you are consuming compared to how much you're creating. And if you got something you want to create, even if it's just a quick little jab, do it. Put it out into the world. You never know. There's a lot of people out there who might be vibing and interested in the same things that you are. So yeah, that's my. You got anything for the folks at home?
No, man. I think you hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
Go find your local brown person and thank them.
Give them a hug. You heard it here first, folks, from Jay Smooth. Listen to some Bad Bunny while you're doing it too. They might like it even more. Bad Bunny. He did good. Bad Bunny.
I mean, I still don't think. I mean, I love Bad Bunny and stuff, but I don't get why people put so much emphasis on who. Like, it could have been anybody, bro. Like, it's over now. Nobody cares now. Like, whatever. Yeah. I love Bad Bunny, but I mean, I don't know. People got way too worked up on who was performing the halftime show. Like, it doesn't. Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter.
It does and it doesn't. I think it's important for people to feel represented in a major platform like that. 150%, especially with how America's feeling right now. I think people need to feel that representation. But also, I think it's a lot of really honky people who like the Macarena, and it's still like they had you dancing in the 90s. You didn't know what they were saying then. And I think you're missing the point that it doesn't really matter what language the music is being spoken in. The importance of music is to make people feel. It's to make people get excited, to make them feel like they want to dance, that they want to move. You don't always have to understand everything, but the way things make you feel, that's an easy universal language that everybody can understand.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And what did he say in that sign at the very end? Sorry, I know I'm rambling.
I forgot.
Love is the answer.
Yeah, there you
you
go.
know, hate cannot drive out hate. Love can only do that. So love thy neighbor, spread some love. Get into some music you might not know the language to. You might love it. You might love it. Borticelli was in the Olympics, and I thought he was fucking great. I don't know a lick of Italian, but I thought he was great. Also, can I just say Borticelli, that guy who, do you know who I'm talking about?
I think so.
I just butchered it. But you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I thought he was like an older guy from like the Renaissance or something. I didn't realize he was just like this old hip Italian dude in the 90s who hit it big. I thought he was like, you know what I mean? Like when you hear that, I just didn't put it together. Yeah, but then Jazz, my girlfriend, when we were watching the Olympics, she's like, "Look at how beautiful Borticelli." I go, "This guy's still alive? He's not like looking like the guy from Tales of the Crypt. He's actually still kicking. Yeah, no, he's doing good. It's Mediterranean diet, brother. That's what it's all about." Yeah. So stick to your greens, stick to the olive oil, stick to the olives, eat well. Root on the Olympics. Go Team USA all the way, huh? Yeah. So thank you guys for joining us here at Hawkwinds Radio Picture Show. My name is Jack Dwyer.
And I'm Jay Smooth.
Thank you all for joining us. See you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.